concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Livestream. It's time to do some Q&A. It's time for you to ask questions and me to answer them. Let's just appreciate this beautiful view, though, right? I don't mean me. Oh, OneIFPV has noticed that my keyboard does not highlight the WASD keys. I am not a gamer. No. Let's face it. You know where the WASD keys are without the without the light up caps, right? I do need to I need to get these keycaps pulled and clean this keyboard. I'll tell you what. It needs to be cleaned. But I am resisting pulling off all the keycaps to clean it. Tom Shoe, to go back to your question about Tom Shoe flashed a ESC, and in the middle of the ESC the battery died, and then now the ESC is non-responsive. If it's BL Heli S, you can flash it with I2C. If it's BL Heli 32, you cannot, and I don't know what the fix is there. Usually you reflash a BL Heli 32 with BL Heli 32, but if it's completely non-responsive, you're just out of luck, I think. Tell me in the chat if you think I'm wrong. John Goblin, you are right. I am a full 104 key. 104 key life, guys. 104 key. I don't, like, if you, on a laptop, okay, you don't need a numpad. But on a desktop, I don't know why you would not get a 104 key. I mean, I guess, like, okay, here, you make an argument. I have a small desk, you know, whatever. I'm in a dorm room. I need room for my mousing, you know, so you get a numpadless one, right? Okay, you could make that argument. But, like I got room. Numpad's very, very useful. Very useful. People want to know what's in that Race Day Quads box. That is actually the mini Cubit that I'm mailing back to Peter. What's his name? The guy who made the mini Cubit. It's a Race Day Quads box, but I recycle boxes by mailing them out. How do I like my mouse pad? My AU key. It's okay. It's okay. Mostly I got this work mouse thing because here, let me put a drink on it. My grandmother would be proud. I noticed when I replaced my desk that the old desk had a lot of like scratches on it from where the mouse was and stuff. And I thought, this surface would not be the end of the world to replace. Unlike my last desk, this surface is just sitting on top of the legs. It's just screwed to the legs. But make it last, right? Anyway, yeah, that's how I like to be. I like to have. How often do you use the arrow keys? I guess not that much. I guess I use the arrow keys. That's not true. To move the cursor, like shift left, control shift left. Yeah. The lights over the monitors are Neewer, Neewer photographic lights. Oh, check this! Check out what I did since the last live stream, everybody. Oh, yeah. How about that? How's it going? Oh, I see. That's a different camera. That's a GoPro. That's why I was noticing that the color temperature here looks very different than the color temperature here. That's because it's a different camera. I got my face camera tuned the same. Anyway. I added my cameras to my Elgato, to my Stream Deck. See? Even this one. Oh, yeah. Guess what I did? Guess what I did today? You could tell from the remnants of my desk, or my bench, right? Yep, I put the new Radiomaster AG01 gimbals in my Radiomaster TX16S. Whoo, boy. Whoo, buddy. My 3D printer, that is a 3D printer. That's a Sovol SV04 that I am reviewing, Aerial Clone. I do not intend to have a 3D printer living there, but that 3D printer has given me some issues, and I haven't finished the review. So it just lives there now until I'm done reviewing it, which I wish would already be now, so I could get it off my bench. But so that's life. Do they sit lower down? I don't think they sit lower down. Let's talk about the AG01 gimbals. I don't think they sit... Hold on. I actually have a... Oh, right. Let's put it in here. Hang on. Here we go. I have my... This is my original TX16S, and that is my TX16S Max. Oh, look, a battery's in here. Should probably, I don't know if that needs to live in there. But the gimbals, I think, are pretty similar between them. I think so, yeah. The TX16S Max just had the, oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Oh, that's a big difference. Jesus. Yeah, wow. It's not just that the sticks are longer. Oh, wow. Is that? No. That's the TX16S Max. Wow. I didn't realize the TX16S Max faceplate is way deeper. I don't know if you guys can see this. Look how deep the gimbal sits on the TX16S Max. I'll give you a chance to look. Here's the TX16S. The gimbal sits much shallower. But that's like the faceplate, not the gimbal, that's doing that. As far as the... Interesting. I hadn't realized that. As far as the gimbal goes, I think it's pretty much the same. Now, obviously, you can adjust the sticks however you like, but... Yeah. You can adjust the sticks. You can, like, lengthen the sticks by unscrewing them. Like, if you didn't know that, now you do. You can lengthen them by unscrewing them, so you can get them to be the length you want. I still haven't tweaked them. I gotta say, you could debate whether it's worth the money. The AG01 gimbals are not cheap. They're like $140 for the pair, and they're like $80 for the single. If you bought, well, I don't know why you buy a single unless you need a spare, but they are not cheap. But boy, they are so much more premium. Like, so much more premium than the factory gimbal. Well, I just recorded the review today. It'll probably come out this week. But I took the old gimbal out, the plastic one, and you can just flex the plastic in your hand easily. Whereas these all metal gimbals like feel like something really substantial. So, yeah. I would say that if $130, $140 for a set of gimbals doesn't make you wince, if that's in your FPV budget, then this upgrade is a slam dunk. Okay. Like, and I'm not a gimbal snob. I'm not the kind of guy who, these gimbals are so good, they're so bad. Like, I kind of don't care. I just want to fly my damn quad. And I have flown on the factory gimbals for a long time and not really cared. But, so I would never say, oh yeah, you must get them. But I would say if that price is in your budget, the gimbal, they're a definite upgrade. One FPV wants to know if I'll give away the old gimbals. Why do you want the old gimbals? Like, your Radio Master came with the gimbals. Ghost Branch FPV in the Discord says, what would be a good replacement stick ends for the TX16S Max for a pincher or a hybrid pilot who thinks the stock ones are a little too short? On my old Tyrannus, they were 2 parts and the length could be adjusted. Hey, Ghost Branch, man, just the freaking weight. Oh, the battery's in. I was going to say, these metal gimbals are heavier, but they're not that much heavier. They do add some weight to the radio and make it feel more premium. Ghost Branch, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't all gimbals adjustable in the way that you're describing? When you say my old gimbals were 2 pieces and could be adjusted, I'm pretty sure they're all like that, aren't they? Oh, I'll be damned. No. The TX16S factory gimbal is not adjustable. It's just a screw-on end. What the dickens? Well, Ghost Branch, I have good news for you. Because the RGO, the AG RGO one, whatever the new gimbal is adjustable in that way. It's a 2-piece gimbal. You can adjust it like you said. So time to upgrade. Look inside this stick end. There should be a tiny bolt, like a grub screw. There is no grub screw. No, sir. Nope. It just screws off. The one. So there are a couple stick ends. Tiny bolt inside the stick I can screw up and down to raise the stick. Are you for real? He's right. Oh my God. Wow, we are learning something today. Oh my God, he's right. Is it an M2? It is! Ghost Branch! Ghost Branch! Josh G. There is a screw inside that you screw down, and that adjusts the length of the stick. Did not know. Mind blown. Ghost Branch, verify. That's really something. Oh, I've screwed it out. Yeah, there it is. There's just a little grub screw in the end that you screw. Oh, shit. That you screw up or down to set the screw length. Wow. Did not know. I thought it was only the 2-piece. Well, now I'll never get them the same again. Good thing I don't use this radio very often. Wow, that's exciting. So exciting. Oh my God. I'll never get them the same again. Well, all right. I'm not going to screw that on the show. Yeah, if you lose the grub screw, you're boned. Good point, Brandon RC. As far as stick ends go, there are 2 stick ends I should really go ahead and order them. John Goblin, that's an M2 grub screw. That is it. That's an M2 grub screw. You're looking at it right now in the picture you posted. So one of the stick-ins that I've been paying attention to right now is, I keep having to ask Blunty to remind me what the name is because I keep forgetting the name. The Thumb Grippies. All right, I'm going to order some of these right now. So people have been talking about these Thumb Grippies as being very good, especially for people who pinch. But some people who use thumbs find that the factory stick ends are too sharp and uncomfortable. They kind of cut into their fingers. So I don't know which of these is the best. Q-tips or the Grand Master? I don't know. Well suited for hybrid or pinch grips or thumbers who want taller sticks. What's this one? Hybrid and thumber grip styles. Am I a hybrid? I think I am a hybrid. Spherical. Lock nuts for height. And what's this one? These are the thumb drops. These are for thumbers. Dropped as low as possible. That's not me. So I guess I would like either the Grandmaster or the Q-tips. I don't know. You can 3D print them. Yeah, you can. That's the kind of thing that I'd probably rather not 3D print. I'd rather order, I'd rather just buy an injection molded one. Now, I think 533 is doing a custom version of this. Excuse me. So unprofessional. And that is 530. I don't know if it's the same thing, though. Is it under... Oh, here we go. Thank you, Ritter F in the Discord, for giving me a direct link. Ritter F. Can we go? Can we go there? There we go. So they're calling them the Rip Sticks, and these do not appear to be identical. Ah, lock nut. That's a little annoying. I do like to support 533. It looks very, very similar, doesn't it? To these. Slightly different shape. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I may try one of these out. People are asking where they can find the gimbals. Is it the RGO one? Radio Master Gimbal. Where's the frickin'... There we go. V3 full CNC Hall gimbal for Radio Master TX16S. The name of it is the... Hello. Come on. Load. So this is the gimbal. It's available... Yeah, it's pre-purchase. AGO one. That's the right search. So GetFPV has it. Who else has it? GetFPV has it. Radio Master obviously has it. Is that it? Heli Nation has it. Nobody else, nobody but GetFPV is usually not the first to have a product like this. That's very interesting. Oh, it's because FPV Crate is a big Radio Master reseller. I bet that's related. They seem, okay, never mind. Nope. Nope. Okay, weird. A little weird, but okay. There you go. You can order it from there, or you can order it from Radio Master RC. Apparently that's it. Not even Banggood? Oh, they don't sell Radio Master, do they? They don't sell Jumper. Maybe that's changed. Anyway, Radio Master AGO1. Do they have it? They do not. All right. Well, there you go. Looks like it's GetFPV or Radio. Not this one. That's the old one. It looks like it is either GetFPV in the USA where it's on back order, or Radio Master RC where it's on pre-order. There you go. They're pretty nice. They're pretty nice. I haven't flown it. I just installed them today. I'll tell you, not to spend the whole live stream talking about these gimbals, but one The one thing I love is that the up and down throw are separately adjustable. So you can take just a little bit of throw off the top. Like I haven't ever wanted to go to short throw gimbals, but if you want to take just a little throw off the top, so because I find that I can't always reach full throttle very easily, you can take just a little throw off the top. I think it's pretty nice. So, alrighty. Well, welcome to the live stream, everybody. It's 20 minutes into the stream. I haven't read a super chat. I haven't done anything but talk about gimbals for the last 20 minutes. There you go. Welcome to the stream. Here's what we got going on. This is you. Here's your chat. Boom. I'll be reading your questions, answering your questions for the next hour or two. And also, these beautiful people are my patrons in the Discord server. Love it. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. Thank you so much. Oh, here we go. Newbie Drone's got it. Yeah! Can't leave Newbie Drone out. There we go. Oh my god. No, it's pre-order. Newbie Drone's got it too. Fantastic. Yeah. And if you want to make sure I get your message, because let's face it, there's a lot of messages going by. I don't always get them all. I never get them all. If you want to make sure I get your message, hit the $ right here. Leave a super chat. I will read them very soon in the stream. Hassan Merchant says, have you seen the Eachine radio with the adjustable gimbals? Actually, that's a good point, Hassan. Hang on. Because actually the Radio Master makes that Eachine radio. And actually that adjustable gimbals, that's a great point. I really appreciate you reminding me of that. My Radio Master doesn't have the adjustable gimbals, but they have since upgraded. They've upgraded the gimbals on the Radio Master to have the adjustment. And I wouldn't want, there we go. So it's the same here. The Eachine has the adjustable gimbals. That's a good point. But it does. So if you buy a Radio Master TX16S today, you will get the adjustable gimbals. Let's try this. Can you buy the Eachine gimbal separately? No, I don't think you can. Yeah. No, you just get the AG01. So I don't know if they're selling those Radio Master adjustable gimbals separately, even though they are selling the Radio Master TX16S with the adjustable gimbals in it. So there we go. And yeah. All right. What's up with Eachine? Asks 1IFPV. Radio Master makes their radio. Skyzone makes their goggles. What do they do? Yep. Oh, Ghost Branch. Ghost Branch says he didn't have the grub screws that came with his radio. Then they were not in his stick ends. They came in the little bag. That's what those grub screws are for. Nice. Good to see you here, Bubby FPV. Let's take some super chats. Since people were so generous as to leave a donation, let's take some super chats. Here we go. Mad Hero FPV, thank you for a $5 super chat. Why does Betaflight Configurator, TBS Agent X, BLHeli32, and BLHeli-S keep triggering my antivirus software? It's Norton 360 if that helps. Well, I think you answered your own question there. Norton 360, am I right? Only thing better than Norton is McAfee. I have no idea why it triggers your virus scanner. I don't. Not everyone has that problem, for what it's worth. Like, it's not like if you have all those programs triggering your virus scanner, something is wrong with your virus scanner. Like, TBS Agent X even has like a legitimate signed installer. So, I don't know. I don't know why it's triggering it. I'm not an expert on Norton. I never claimed to be. So, and since I'm not an expert on virus scanners, then I should shut the hell up. However, I did sleep in a Holiday Inn Express last night, as the saying goes. From what I've read, the built-in Microsoft Windows virus scanner is on par with third-party antivirus. Yeah, Josh Fisk says third-party antivirus in 2021. So, like, if you're running Windows, the built-in virus and threat protection is supposedly pretty good. Do your own research, but you may not need Norton. And everybody I know who runs Norton or McAfee, like, it's like, oh, it's just a pain in the ass and slows your computer down, and you don't need it. You don't need it. Yeah, Meat agrees with me. Meat agrees with me. It's just a kind of it's the kind of thing that used to be relevant, but these days Windows Defender is as good at protecting your computer from viruses as anything, and it doesn't cost any money, and doesn't like crap out and slow your computer down. So anyway, that's my take that advice for what it's worth. I'm not a security expert, but that's what my research shows me. So I would try uninstalling Norton. Or whitelist the apps. I don't know. Anthony DiStefano, thank you for a $5 super chat. Is DJI with analog converter setup better than any analog goggles? Okay, let's talk this one through. DJI with an analog input like the BDI Digidapter, which lets you use a Fat Shark adapter into the AV input. The pro of that is that DJI has a humongous screen. It's going to have a larger field of view than any other binocular style goggle. And frankly, it's on par with some box goggles. Okay? Now, it's a large image, but it's not an OLED image. Gosh, DJI, can we have OLED screens? I mean, like, as long as I'm just, I mean, yeah, it costs $600, $700. So, geez, but that's something that analog goggles still have going for them, is they have OLED screens. Some of them do, not all of them. And OLED screens look beautiful. So you get a large image when you use the DJI goggles for analog. But the downside is, number one, there's a small amount of additional latency. I think it's on around 15 milliseconds, maybe one frame. Don't know why. Bushcrafter points out that you lose sound. Is that what you're trying to say? Or are you trying to say you've lost the sound from my live stream? I'm not sure about that. You can still get sound. Like the BDI Digidapter has a microphone output for the analog, right? Obviously DJI doesn't use microphone, but you can still get sound out of the module. The main downside of using analog with the DJI goggles is that when the signal goes to blue screen or black screen, or it's the DJI logo, it can take longer to come back than is acceptable. Okay? Which means that on analog goggles, you would get a tiny bit of static and you would fly through it and you'd be fine. On DJI, you look at the DJI logo and then your quad is crashed. Now, I believe that problem only exists if you're using PAL or NTSC, and I don't remember which of those ones has the problem and which one doesn't. So I would say that DJI for analog is usable, but it's not, if you had to pick just one, right, then analog goggles would be better. But a lot of people out there, I mean, can't have both. And a lot of people would say, well, I'm going to fly DJI on most of my quads, but then I have a tiny whoop with analog and I'll just use DJI, and that's fine. So why do the DJI goggles have a headphone jack then? Asks Run Puppy FPV. Because the DJI FPV drone carries audio. Woolhound RC, if you're a patron and you didn't get a Discord invite, DM me on Patreon. Don't email me or message me here. DM me on Patreon through the Patreon site, and I'll get you the invite. Nick Huber says his DJI goggles go to static, and he uses NTSC. The DJI FPV drone does transmit audio, Mike Bergman. That is correct. Cali FPV, thank you for a $5 super chat. After a crash, I now have UART control in the OSD, and I can't get it to go away. Any suggestions? Cali FPV, UART control in the hang on, I'm going to show you the video. Let's see if I can find this video. Yes! Oh, I have an encyclopedic knowledge of my own old videos. So this is an old video I made about the Runcam Racer 2, and you can tell by the fact that it has TX and RX here on the camera that it has digital camera control. The flight controller can interface with the camera's menu via a UART, and that's what it means when it says digital control on screen. Now, am I going to show this? Hopefully I will. Okay, so when we first power up, it'll plug into that plug, and now the camera's turned on. Hello there. Now you can see me. This always, but there's a catch. If it doesn't work for the joystick, I'm going to show you. And what you need to do is you need to... So when you first power up the camera, hold on, it tells you what mode it's in. Plug in the power. All right, here we go. And you see when it powers up, it says UART control here in the upper left. That's telling you that it will now be controllable by your UART. If you need to go back the other direction, you'll need to switch it again by just bridging these pins. And if okay, so what the camera is telling you is that it is controllable by the flight controller. Now, what's weird is you seem to be saying that it's not going away. It should go away. And the other thing is that it should only show up if you have short-circuited the TX and the RX wires in the camera plug. So it's possible that your camera is damaged in some way that's causing it to think you have short-circuited those wires together. Quad Doc, there is no way currently to get audio with a DJI Vista or Air unit. It is not possible. Not possible. So Cali FPV, I think it's likely that your camera is damaged unless you have those TX and RX wires plugged in somewhere and they are like short-circuited. One IFPV, you don't content strike yourself. You don't copyright strike yourself. I wonder if anybody is using my stuff. Hang on. Let's go to the copyright page. Let's see what we got. JB. So this is the JB Russian translation channel. That's fine. And here is the JB Livestream Clips channel. I wish can I sort by channel? No. I wish I could just whitelist a channel. Wouldn't that be nice? What do we got? That's it? Is that it? Can I see more than 10 videos per page? Oh, this is going to be annoying. Can I not? Can I? Oh my God. Can I not select all? Oh my God. That's so annoying. YouTube. Okay. JB Livestream Clips. JB Livestream Clips. This person. This person. Who is this person who has uploaded 100% of my video? It's somebody who's into Terrence Howard. They've re-uploaded 100% of my video. They have 174 subscribers and my video's gotten 64 views. I don't think I'm going to copy strike them. I don't really care. Fair enough. YouTube, why would you not let me have a select all or the ability to whitelist a channel? Why would you not do this? Look how annoying this is going to be. Every time I upload to my own YouTube Clips channel, I will have to manually go through here and archive all of these stupid things. People still talking about. People still talking about. Oh my God, Nick S. Nick S. Come on. Like, I'm all about being aware of the original source of certain terms, but I don't know. Blacklist and whitelist are just terms from like firewalls and so forth. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. That's yeah. I feel like that's a bridge too far for me. That's just me. Let's see here. FPV Dartian, thank you for 10 New Zealand dollars. I went back to Betaflight 4.2 on the T-Motor F7 from Falco X. Now it has yaw twitches when I turn a yaw. Doesn't happen on throttle punch or fast forward change. It flies perfect otherwise. When you say you went back to Betaflight 4.2, FPV Dartian, I feel like there's some context here that I'm missing, or maybe we had a conversation that is not coming to my mind because I have a lot of... Whoa! Whoa! Mike Bergman! That's the line, man. That's the line. No. No. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What happened? Just dial it back. Mike Bergman. That's too far, man. Jesus. Wow. Oh, I gotta... That's... That's just sad. That's just sad that people think that way. No matter what your political leaning is. Anybody... Yeah, wow. I kind of want to address that, but I also don't want to invite the chat to comment on it, so I'm just going to shut the hell up and move on. No. 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 Nobody... Hi. Anybody who has actually been in a war, to ask them, go find someone who's been in a war and ask them how that went for them and whether they think it was a good idea and whether they would prefer to avoid a war at all costs or whether they would look forward to it. That's all I have to say. Jesus. I know you said not that I want that, Mike. But you also said the other part, and no. We're moving on. FPV Dartian. FPV Dartian. I went back to Betaflight 4.2 on T-Motor F7. Now it has yaw twitches. Jesus Christ. One civil war is enough for this country. For God's sakes. For God's sakes, stop. Do not. Certainly not in my chat. Jesus Christ. Certainly not in my chat. That's not the place. That will not solve problems. Did the first American Civil War solve all our problems? No, definitely not. It's only because the wrong side won. Shut the fuck up. I went back to Betaflight 4.2 on T-Motor F7 from Falco X. Now it has yaw twitches. That's a bad gyro, FPV Dartian. It's a bad gyro. That's what that is, probably. Metal Dirt Skin, the air unit records audio, it just doesn't transmit it. Just doesn't transmit it. He went back to Betaflight 4.2 because Falco X wasn't that great. The bottom line, FPV Dartian, is yaw twitches probably are bad gyro. If you have messed with the filtering, put the filtering back to default. If you have not messed with the filtering and you have yaw twitches, then there's either something mechanical wrong with your quad, like you have vibrations getting to the flight controller, or your capacitor broke off, or just let it go, Mike. Just let it go, Mike. Let it go. What do you... Oh, my God. Mike. Yes, you did, Mike. Come on. We're moving on. We're moving on. Yeah, bad gyro, capacitor, etc. Raven 187, thanks for $2 Australian. Have you seen the $70 Darwin FPV Baby Ape 3-inch PNP? Raven, we saw that on yesterday's live stream, and apparently Nick Burns really liked it. Which says something. For $70, that's mighty compelling. Comes in around 70, 80 grams, so it really qualifies in my mind as a toothpick. I don't know. This Darwin FPV is a relatively new company with so it doesn't really have a track record of whether it's going to be good quality. But if Nick Burns is gaga over it, that certainly says a lot. Okay. Dirty Deeds asks, what would cause my goggles and VTX to not sync up on the first power up? I'm trying to set everything to raceband 8, and every time I have to change channels on the goggles and then back to raceband 8, and it works. Except one quad, I have to change the VTX channel up or down. Is this an issue with my EV200D? Dirty Deeds, it certainly does seem like a goggle issue. Like the Eachine goggle is not locking onto the channel correctly. Or the module issue. Like, I can't see how that could be an issue with all your VTXs. So just Occam's razor says it's the goggles. What should you do? Do you have a friend who you could test on a different set of goggles? That's what I would do. Joshua McBride, thanks for a $5 super chat. Thanks for your help, Joshua. My 7-year-old loves your vids. Can you wish Gabriel a happy birthday, please? I sure can. Happy birthday, Gabriel. Crone FPV, thanks for 50 rubles. Just to thank you for the help you gave me with my Cinelog 25 and UARTs. Sure thing. Absolutely glad we were able to help. Green Earwax, thanks for a $2 super chat for the help with air mode. Yeah, he had air mode off. And then he was saying that my quad does this thing. And I was like, do you have air mode on? He was like, yes. I was like, that's what that's. Oh, he said no. I was like, turn it on. That's what that's there to fix. Mouse FPV wants me to settle a bet between DMS FPV and themselves. Gyro flight controller placement, can it affect flight performance in acro mode? Generally, no. Mouse FPV, I actually have a video out about this, but I'm happy to go over it again as a thank you for your super chat. Gyro in acro mode, only the gyro is used, not the accelerometer, and a gyroscope measures rotational rate. If you have a rigid object, mom had a rigid object, am I right? If you have a rigid object and it rotates, then every part of it will experience the same rotational rate, because otherwise it would be bending and flexing. So if I have a steel rod and I rotate that steel rod at 360 RPM, so 1 rotation per second, every part of the steel rod rotates 360 degrees in 1 second. Okay, if one part of the rod was rotating at a different rate, it would be bending and twisting. Now, the velocity of different parts of the rod are moving at different speed, right? The center of the rod is not moving, and the outermost part of the rod is moving faster. That's velocity, though. That's not rotational rate. And a gyro only measures rotational rates, not velocity. So the gyro flight controller placement, front, center, rear, doesn't matter in acro mode. Now, here's why it's not a slam dunk, okay? Because on a real quadcopter, the placement of the flight controller affects the harmonics that it sees. So if you've got a frame, there may be some parts of the frame that have worse resonant harmonic vibrations, whatever, and other parts that are experience those less. Like a great example of that is the old QAV 250. Remember this guy? Take a look at the QAV 250. Can I get this image bigger? Well, anyway. Do you see that on the QAV 250, there's this sort of cantilevered, sticky outy bit? Okay? You've got this part here, which is sort of boxed in, and then this part just hangs out the back. Now, that was originally for the battery. So, but if you were to mount a flight controller way back here I bet you would get really bad vibrations compared to mounting it here in the center. So that's in that sense, the mounting does matter. But as far as the flight characteristics, the mounting doesn't matter. Okay. Mike Bergman, let it go. We'll talk about it some other time if you want. It's over. I read the words that you wrote. I didn't take you out of context. I read the words that you wrote, and it felt like a slap in the face. You can tell me I'm wrong. You can tell me you didn't mean it that way. You could apologize and say, let's let it go. That's not how I meant it. I mean, there's any number of ways to go on this. All right. I feel like it was really over the line. That's how I feel. I let it go. I moved on. You're still keeping it going in the chat. The chat is turning on you. So I'm not responsible for that. So let's just let it go. Okay. Josh Robinson, thank you for a $2 super chat. T4 switch not working. Bootloader mode workaround. What's a T4 switch? Help me out. Can anybody help me with what a T4 switch is? That's not ringing a bell. A trim switch? Trim switch. Oh, T4 trim switch. So you can't get into bootloader mode because your switch is broken. Damn. I mean, if you need to flash the radio, you can flash it using the DFU interface. You just plug into the USB with the radio powered down. I have a video where I show that. Here, I'll give you that video. So, here's the video. Here's the video. I also enjoy having you here, Mike. Mike, sorry guys. Mike, it's no hard feelings. Your voice, I'm always happy to see your name in chat. I'm happy you're here. There's no hard feelings. You know. We don't need to hash it over. I'm just moving on with my life, and I probably won't even remember it next week. Okay? It's done. It's not a big deal. We don't need to hash it out. But I don't want you thinking like I'm going to hold a grudge or something. It's because I'm not a millennial snowflake. Although technically, am I millennial or Gen X? I think I'm not sure. Yeah, let it go. Who is Mike Bergman? Good point, Fog Doctor. Yeah, Josh Robinson, you can flash the video using that method, but if you can't get into bootloader, there are things you may not be able to do. The Creator's Cup, thank you for a $10 super chat. Will lowering the center of gravity on a drone make it unstable? I don't think so. I understand there are different views on this. Would a low CG make it easier to achieve smooth and slow movements? I mean, a low CG tends to be better for snappy movements. However, people do build slammed squirts. I think if you're just doing smooth movements, then I'm not sure that the slammed makes as much of a difference. I mean, it saves a little weight, I suppose. Big Data Pimp says I'm definitely Gen Xer. I'm never sure where this... I know I'm on the edge. I'm on the line. I'm close. But I'm not sure when the actual cutoff is between Gen X and millennials. Am I a millennial? Where millennials end and Gen Z begins? No. Millennial, Gen X, or Gen Z? I want like a... No, shut up. I want like a test. What generation am I test? Were you born in... No. Oh, my goodness. There we go. Millennials, Gen X, Boomers, or Gen Z. Let's find out. Let's find out what I really am. Oh, BuzzFeed. Yeah, let's take this quiz. Hang on. All right. Here we go.
All right, let's go.
What is your go-to slang?
That's
Okay.
lit AF.
That's dope.
That's the cat's
What?
pajamas.
That's tubular.
I guess dope. I want to say lit AF, but
Awesome.
dope.
Great.
Yeah.
What's your favorite type of hat?
Dad hats.
Top hat.
No.
A snapback.
A blossom hat.
Guess a dad
Nailed
hat.
it.
Which movie quote defines your teen years?
As if.
What's your damage, Heather? Gucci.
Tell me about it, stud.
Damn. I don't recognize any of those. I think this is from Heather's.
I love you.
It must be from
Great
Heather's,
choice.
right?
What is your go-to mode of transportation?
A nice walk.
My board.
I
One
hate
of
all
those
of
fruit
these
scooters
people.
you can rent.
I hate all of these people.
I just order. Mwah. Hey.
If I don't order
When you
a car,
arrive at
I
a
own
party,
a car.
what's your first stop?
The booze, baby. Chug, chug, chug.
Oh, I don't go to. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that one.
You get it.
I hate all of these people for the
You're out of
record.
paper towels. What do?
I use a
Go to the
shirt.
grocery store and buy some.
Tell my digital assistant to buy me more.
Uh-huh.
Ask
I
me.
guess this one.
Really? You think that? Me too.
Oh, good. A child
How do you
agrees
feel
with
about
me.
Too loud and too crowded. Thank you. I like this.
That one.
I like you.
Too loud, too crowded.
What
I don't
outdated
like
technology
you. I
do
wish
you
you
miss
would
the
stop
most?
addressing me directly.
iPods.
Do not miss
Landlines.
iPods. Do not miss landlines.
Headphones with aux cords.
Maybe, because the latency's better.
Cassettes.
Cassettes.
We see eye to
I
eye.
miss cassettes.
Well,
I used to
eye
make
to
mixtapes
screen.
off the
You know
radio.
what I mean.
When I was too young to
Selfies.
buy albums,
Yay or nay?
I would
Not really
record
my thing.
songs off the radio onto cassette
I've been known to
tapes.
take a selfie or two.
Totally.
best
Right? Yeah.
Who's your favorite celebrity?
Which of these people do you
Robin
want to punch
Redford.
in the face more?
Beyonce.
I
Winona Ryder.
completely agree.
How often do you talk on the phone?
Multiple times a day.
No.
Only when I call my mom.
Call my mom.
Or my BFF. Awesome. This is awesome.
No,
Wait, come
it
with-
is not. It is not
Guys, you've
awesome.
been running around all night like
Okay.
maniacs, and honestly, I'll never forget you.
Oh, you're gonna get. I'm gonna get copy struck because
All
of that.
right, let's see how you did.
What generation am I?
You belong in Generation X.
There we go.
You're independent, resourceful, self-sufficient, and you hate being micromanaged.
Okay, there we go. I am Gen X. Now we know both chronologically and mentally. Okay. Oh, Gen X it is. Once when I was a young child, I called into a radio station because there was a particular song that I wanted on my mixtape, and my parents didn't give me, didn't have an allowance, and they didn't buy me albums. So I called a radio station to put a request in for that song, and the host was like, "Okay, yep, no problem, gotcha." And then for the next 2 hours, I listened to the radio station waiting for them to play my song, and they didn't. Anyway. Okay. Creators Cup, to answer your question, I don't think lowering the CG on a squirt is as useful as lowering the CG on an acro quad, but I don't think it hurts either. The main way you're going to get smooth, slow movements is by smooth, slow stick movements. Hidden Hollows FPV, thank you for a $5 super chat. What would you suggest for a small winter flyer for garage and barn, DJI Vista and Polar? For garage and barn, I think you could go up to a 3-inch toothpick, like a TP3. It depends on the size of the barn. I don't know if who sells a TP3 though? You want to build it TP3. What song did I want to record? Terminal Insanity. I don't remember the song, but it was from do you remember the movie Short Circuit with the robot that came to life named Johnny Five? I remembered, I don't know why I remember this. It was from that movie. So maybe it was a title track from that movie. I don't remember though. I do remember it's from that movie, though. Shady wants to know, what's the deal with Opentx not being able to check for updates in Companion? Well, Shady, let's just see if anything is wrong or if it's just you. Here we go. Oh, god dang it. Look at that. I got the same problem. Companion update check failed. New version information not found. Well, I don't know what the deal is, but I can tell you it's not just you. So they're having some kind of a problem. There you go. Hidden Hollows FPV, a small winter flyer for garage and barn with DJI Vista. The best I think you're going to get is like a Toothpick 3 on 3S batteries. A 3S Toothpick 3, FPV cycle 1300 millimeter motors, 1300 motors, and a naked Caddx Vista or Nano. You're going to have to build it yourself, but that's, I think, one of the best. There you go. That's it. R.C. Ritter. It has to have been El DeBarge. Who's Johnny? I'm not going to play it on the stream because I don't want to get a copyright. It probably was Who's Johnny by El DeBarge. That, you know, 8-year-old Bardwell wanted that on his mixtape. El DeBarge. Who's Johnny? That was probably it. Riot 9, thank you for $7 Australian. If I just have 2 Axie HD stubbies, no patches, they should go on the top of the V2 goggles, even if the project... No. Yes. Riot, the final word for me was Wesley Vardy's range testing, and you go check out Wesley Vardy's page, his YouTube channel, but the long story short, he confirmed what other people have also shown, and for me it was the final straw. He tested the V2 goggles, and I think not everybody had tested them. Patch on the bottom, Omnis on top. That's the best. Adults, FPV, Adults, thank you for a $5 super chat. Now everyone knows we flew bricks back. We're talking about the QAV 250 from before. Dan Alamet, thank you for 10 Brazilian reais, I think. I'm going to Florida for one day. Tell me the best FPV shop place to go to. You gave me Brazilian reais, so I'm going to assume that you're from Brazil. And let me just check that. Our dollar sign is Brazilian reais, yeah. Florida is... How long? Is it 8 hours? Florida. So let's say we wanted to drive from let's do Jacksonville. Let's not cheat by picking Tallahassee or Pensacola. From north to south, Jacksonville to Miami. Let's do that. Jacksonville to Miami is, it's only 5 hours. That's not the worst. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. You have your choice. So your choices include Rotor Riot and Race Day quads in the Orlando area. And then in the... Where is... It's somewhere around here. Is Get FPV. And what's the name of their freaking city they're in? It's not up there. Is it down here? Where is it? I think it's north of Orlando. What city are they from? Sarasota, that's it. Where's Sarasota? Orlando to Sarasota. It's south, really? I thought Sarasota was north of Orlando. I guess not. In Sarasota, there's Get FPV. So those are some of your choices. And yeah, whichever one you're closer to, that's where you should go. Sarasota. I just couldn't remember the name of the city. Race Day Quads. Rotor Riot has open house. You could just stop by their office or GetFPV doesn't have. If you go to GetFPV, I think they've even stopped doing over-the-counter deliveries. I don't know if they did stop doing over-the-counter deliveries because of COVID. I don't know if they started again. I'm not sure if there would be any point in stopping by GetFPV. My FPV store is in Palm Bay, Florida. I know that Rotor Riot has an open showroom, and Race Day Quads, you can stop in and like pick up your order, but I don't think they're gonna, like there's nothing to see there except a warehouse. Miguel T, thank you for a $10 super chat. When do you declare a dead AIO flight controller? Are flyaways, death roll, uncontrolled yaws, death signs? Yeah. I always have faith it's due to some setting or wiring noise. I mean, Miguel, it's a tough call. My rule of thumb is if you have a healthy quadcopter and you didn't screw with the configuration and then it starts death rolling and stuff, well, that's not your configuration. It's the flight controller. So yeah, I think, Miguel, you know as well as I do that it's dead, and you just it kind of in denial at this point. Scott Steely, thank you for a $5 super chat. For the DJI receiver, you don't mention it a lot. Do you use other receivers than DJI? Why is that? It's sort of free when you buy the Air unit. Scott Steely, my number one controller is the Radiomaster TX16S. I use that because, I use it because I like it, but one of the reasons I use it is that it can do everything. It can do Express LRS, Crossfire, Tracer, Ghost, you name it, it can do it. And I have a little bit of everything going around. The DJI controller is okay. It's not bad. And a lot of people who fly only DJI prefer to use the DJI controller. You're right. The range is fine. DJI video stops at 13 kilometers. DJI controller gets to 13 kilometers. So, you don't have to worry about range or failsafe. But two things. I like the separate control links because I make content about them, and also because I like to know that if my video does get lost, I still have control if I want to try to get the video back or something, if I feel like that's the right thing to do. The other thing is that I like Opentx. I like being able to program my radio to do crazy things, and the DJI radio is not programmable. Also, the DJI radio only has 4 switches. I don't like the switches. So there's nothing wrong with using the DJI radio, but it's not my daily. EMPFPV, thanks for $5. Zipperlips FPV, thanks for $5. If you recorded a mixtape off a radio station, you are Gen X for sure, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gen X. Woolhound FPV, Woolhound RC, thank you for a $5 super chat. How old are you? I am 46 right now. At this moment, I'm 42, 21, 46. I'm 46. One IFPV points out, you can't invert pitch with the DJI radio, and we all know inverted pitch is... Can you upgrade the Tango 2 gimbals, Run Puppy FPV? I don't think so, Run Puppy. I don't think anybody makes aftermarket gimbals for the Tango 2, and they are a weird setup. The gimbal sensor is all soldered into the board. It's not like you could take an X-Lite gimbal out and somehow shoehorn it into a Tango 2. Aber the Ham says, you know as well as I do that it's dead. You're just in denial. Add that to the sound pack list that's still going on. Hey, by the way, you remember that? You remember like a month ago when I said, hey, if you guys come up with a sound pack list, I will read the sound pack and I will let somebody make a sound pack? Hey, I got further than that. And I marked it. Oh my God. Why did the change not get saved? How far did I get? Now I have to look. Oh well. I started doing that today. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, all the way up. I did that far. It took longer than I thought. But I did actually start work on this today. So there's going to be a Bardwell sound pack for OpenTX and EdgeTX. Yeah. Who owns this file? I think this file is owned by Ghost Branch. So if you guys... Is it owned by me? I don't think it's owned by me. How do I see who owns this file? Okay. Who owns this file? Document details. Owner, Aber the Ham owns it. Oh, great. Aber the Ham. So if anybody wants to try to get additional stuff on there, yeah. I am working. I actually started work on it. That's how long it takes. Oh, there's not as much there. I got further. I got further than I thought. Oh, I'm almost done. Yeah. So we'll keep working on that. Yeah, anyway. Is that all? Is that the whole thing? Interesting. That's how long it takes me to get to a project, for the record. I do get to them eventually. Quadrophenia, great question. With the rising cost of electronics, do you think companies should be more accountable for bad components? Yeah, because let's face it, when a flight controller is $40 and you get a crappy one, and then it dies, you cuss, maybe you get a spare, maybe you don't, you just eat the $40. But when a flight controller is $80, it's bad. So the question is, what are you going to do? I don't think you can be in the FPV hobby without having a tolerance for hardware that is crappy. That's just where we're at. And you used to pay $40 for crappy hardware, and now you pay $80 for crappy hardware. It's the same crappy hardware. I don't know if there's anything you can do about it. Swayon FPV wants to know if the sound pack is for patrons only. Swayon, you know it's going to leak, right? So, like, it's just a bunch of files on an SD card, so it's not like you could ever keep it a secret, so you may as well make it public. That's my philosophy. Brett Marak, thanks for your help. I think you missed my super chat earlier in the stream. Really? I'm sorry about that, Brett. Let me go back and check. I appreciate you giving me another super chat. No, I don't. Brett, I don't see you anywhere else. Okay, go. So, good for me. I didn't miss your super chat, but bad for you. He says, I think you missed my super chat about 2 motors spinning on 1 slider. I don't see your earlier question, so I'm just gonna guess. Brett, that you have 2 motors spinning when you raise the slider. Here is the issue that most likely you are having. The issue is most likely that in your ESC plug, you have 2 pins that one of the pins has bent over and is touching the other. So that when you raise the slider, both the motors get the signal. Open up, unplug the plug, look inside the housing on the ESC and the flight controller and see if 2 of the pins are bent over. And if so, just bend it back. Corey Marinello can't join the Discord. Help. Corey, message me on Patreon if you are having trouble joining the Discord server. I am Rudy. Asks any updates on flow state. No updates on flow state at this time. The only update, the current status of the flow state film is that we have hired an agent to shop the film around with the agent's contacts. James feels that the agent has a lot of contacts in the industry and is a good way to go. Before we can shop the film around, the agent has said that we need some things done with our insurance that were not done to his satisfaction, and is working on getting that done. So. There is no sound pack yet, Hassan Merchant. There is no sound pack yet. Cyberdeck Cafe. Would you consider doing another Sharkbite video, but this time go stand where there's better line of sight, work within its capabilities instead of showing only where it lacks? Wow. Cyberdeck Cafe, I take issue with some of the, I mean, I know you're not trying to come at me, but I take issue with that. Cyberdeck Cafe, I stand in the same place every time I test a video transmitter or fly a quadcopter or ever. Now, some people would say that that shows a lack of imagination and incentive, and why don't you get out of your house, Bardwell, and go fly somewhere exciting? We're tired of seeing you fly around your property. And those people would have a point, is what it is. But one side effect of the fact that I don't ever fucking go anywhere, pardon me, parents, sorry about that. One side effect of that is that every single video transmitter and quad and module gets tested in a more or less similar environment. So when you say, show SharkBite within its capabilities instead of showing only where it lacks, I didn't treat SharkBite unfairly when I stood in the exact same place on my porch and faced the exact same direction that I do when I fly every single other thing that I fly. I treated it as fairly as possible. And in fact, if I made an exception for SharkBite and said, you know what, I'm going to go fly in an open field so we have good line of sight, so it looks better, that would actually be unfair. Also, I didn't show only where SharkBite lacks, because some of the time when I was flying, we had clear line of sight. When you say work within its capabilities, why would I, like, it's a video system. Like if you said, what's the best screwdriver? And I took a butter knife and I was just like, this is a terrible screwdriver. You're like, well, it's not a screwdriver. It's a butter knife. You're not using it how it's intended to be used. But SharkBite is a video transmission system for flying FPV. So when I fly it around my house, and sometimes I go behind trees or sometimes I go behind my barn, that's how it's intended to be used. And if it is bad at that, so then I've done my job as a reviewer by showing you where it is good and where it is bad. So, there you go. What's Josh drinking? Hassan Merchant asks. A strawberry mango sparkling water. No alcohol, no caffeine. Just good old me. Anyway. Cyberdeck Cafe at Quad Doc says, you mean stop making SharkBite look how it actually looks in reality? Yes, exactly. The thing is, people... The SharkBite fans in my YouTube comments are some of them are rabid. They're rabid. It's like, here's the thing. It looks pretty damn good. It looks pretty good, especially the new camera. Like, I do an honest review of the new camera. I fly it around. I show how it looks. I make sure that I'm not on race 3 like that one time. Like, I can take criticism. When I released that one video and the SharkBite, the quadcopter that Ryan Quellet sent me was on race band 3, and I didn't think before I flew it to change it to race band 8, which I normally do. And that was just an honest mistake and an oversight because I didn't build the quad. I just took it out of the box and flew it right how he sent it to me. And it was on race band 3, and it got terrible interference from my Wi-Fi network. Ryan Quellet said, that doesn't seem right. We tracked it down, and I took the video down, and I re-uploaded a new version of the video with new footage, because I thought that wasn't fair, and that wasn't realistic. That I usually go to race band 8 when I fly, and it wasn't fair to show SharkBite on race band 3 getting all this Wi-Fi interference. So I can take criticism when it's warranted, when it's valid. But I don't know what you want. You say work within its strengths. I don't know. I don't know what you want there. I thought it looked really good. It didn't look as good as you want me to think it looked. What are you going to do? And then people get in the comments and they say, I see all these people flying SharkBite and it looks so much better. And I'm like, yeah, you see, I've looked at some of these videos and I'm not going to name names because it'll seem like I'm taking shots. So I'm not going to do that. I saw a video today. It's not Ryan Quellet, okay? For the record. Ryan Quellet does good work and I think his results are realistic and so forth. But it was a video of a person flying shark bite, and they were flying at relatively short range in a relatively open area. And they were like, see, people were like, see, this is how good it can look. And I'm like, yeah, if I fly it in an open field at a distance of 100 feet, it'll look great too. Who does that? All right. But it's really good. It's really good. Like, you want it to be here, and it's like here. And I'm saying it's here, and you're like, oh man, it's here. No, it's not. It will be. They're going to get it there. And when it's there, I'll say it's there. All right. Okay, no more super chats. What's holding other companies back from doing what DJI did? Terminal Insanity asks. Is it just custom silicon? Yes. Terminal Insanity, DJI made custom silicon, and they spent millions of dollars probably, and now they have something that no one else has. Billions? Probably not billions. Certainly millions. Custom people I know who think they know what they're talking about have told me that to develop ASICs like DJI did is in the millions of dollars, maybe tens of millions. Certainly not billions. I don't think billions. I mean, DJI makes like 25 billion a year in revenue, so I don't think they spent billions developing Fat Shark. What do you guys think? Would it be better if Sharkbite made the speckles like black or gray instead of white? Some people say those rainbow speckles are really really distracting and upsetting, and they'd rather they were like black or something. I don't even know if that would be possible, but have you ever flown Steel's Build, and how does it fly, Mr. Lucky FPV? Mr. Lucky, I did. I reviewed Steel's Build. It flies really, really well. I don't know if it's worth how much you pay to get it, but it does fly really, really well. License to Drive suggests that the speckles should be an average of the pixels around them. License to Drive, I don't know if that's possible, though, is it? Because in order to make this pixel an average of the speckle on the next line down, you would have to delay by one line. So I don't know how much delay they built into the system to allow them to do that. Cyberdeck Cafe says it's already an average of the pixels around it. Then why is it bright white? I don't find the white speckles to be that people are like, it's giving me epilepsy. I don't think it's that big a deal. 507RC suggests that we leave the pixel at its previous value. The problem with that 507RC is that you end up with smearing. And I think when I like think about how you get smearing sometimes in like a digital video file when the stream breaks down or something and you get a smear. I recently went and looked for an example of that so I could use it to illustrate this point. I couldn't find an example of it. But the smearing is distracting because it looks like the motion of the quad a little bit. So you've got a tree, and the tree is here, right? And then there's some lost data, and the tree kind of smears or whatever. And it takes you a fraction of a second to figure out that that's not actual movement. At least with speckles, my brain knows that that's static, and I can tell how good my video signal is. Going back to the question about Opentx Companion, who would have thought you could just check on the Opentx website and there is an answer here. You have to manually download Companion 2.3.14 to fix it. You cannot auto update anymore due to an issue with SSL certificates. Yeah, that's the answer. Thank you for that, Andy404. Appreciate you pointing that out. Big Data Pimp says you should get Flow State on Amazon Prime. Yeah. Big Data Pimp names another low-budget film that's on Amazon Prime. I think that Big Data Pimp, that it is possible to self-publish on Amazon Prime, and that perhaps that will be something we'll consider. But I think we would rather try to sell the film via distribution than to kind of self-publish. Self-publishing is going to be our fallback. That's my opinion. I mean, that's my current thought. We'll see. Josh Fisk says, if you had to pick one video system, DJI, SharkBite, or analog to fly for the rest of your life, what would it be? I mean, Josh, assuming that the hardware is in the state that it's in now, and assuming I continue to be able to get hardware for the rest of my life, then it would have to be DJI. I mean, like, the latency is not the best, but there's no question that the image quality, the range and penetration, and the quality of the hardware in terms of durability is so far and ahead of everything else out there. Now, if I were a racer, if 65% of what I did was racing, I would have a different answer. I would say SharkBite. Except right now, SharkBite is only 200 milliwatts. Yes, I know there's a 500 milliwatt VTX that has existed. Number one, show me it in stock somewhere. I don't think there's not a lot of them out there. I don't think they're currently manufacturing them because there were QC issues with the two-board solution. So I don't talk about the 500 milliwatt one because I don't think it's a viable solution today. So right now, 200 milliwatts. And that would be a deal breaker. If I raced a lot, oh, but wait, for racing, 200 milliwatts is fine. I see. Yeah, no, for racing, I would pick SharkBite. For general use or freestyle, it would be DJI. Nick S thinks that's an un-American answer. Oh, I see. Which Chinese company should I support? Fat Shark? Do you think Fat Shark is an American company? Actually, technically now they are, aren't they? Fat Shark got bought by Red Cat, and Red Cat's an American company. That's yeah. You know where Fat Shark manufactures? I've been there. I went. They flew me out to do an interview with Greg French. Greg French. Fat Shark is based in Shenzhen. They do all their manufacturing in Shenzhen. I believe. I apologize if I get this wrong. I believe Greg French is a Canadian citizen who lives in the Cayman Islands and China. And I apologize if that's wrong, but I think that's true. So now Fat Shark's been bought by Red Cat. Red Cat's a true-blooded American company based out of Puerto Rico. Fair enough. Still manufactures in China. Oh, maybe we should go analog. That's American. What are you going to do? Is it a problem? Two-way FPV asks, is it a problem if my frame has continuity to battery negative? No, that's normal. It's completely normal for the frame to get ground from a million places. Don't worry about it. Cyberdeck Cafe says the 500 milliwatt was in stock on Amazon last week. Yeah, but I mean, okay, so I knew somebody would be able to find a place where it was in stock. Fair enough. The 500 milliwatt VTX, though, to me, as I said, is non-viable. Because I've heard too many stories and personally experienced. There's two things wrong with this, in my opinion. The stacking pins, you can't see them here. I wish I had a better picture. There's stacking pins between these two boards. And those stacking pins are a source of, not just for SharkBite. Stacking pins are a no-go on a flight controller where you're going to have shocks and vibrations. They stop working. And then there's also an MMCX connector between these two boards. And it's very common for that MMCX connector to get a bad connection. And you just squeeze the two boards together and suddenly your range is good again. So to me, Like, I guess if you were to put this in an airplane where you're not going to have a lot of crashes, maybe it would make sense. But to me, for racing or freestyle, it's a no-go. That's my take. Especially because how expensive is it? It's currently unavailable. It's expensive, too. It's not cheap. Is there an analog equivalent to the polar camera for night vision? Yeah, Steve FPV Crash. Oh, sorry. There you go. There are tons of Starlight analog cameras. The Foxeer Cat is one that's recent. Foxeer Cat. That's one you could consider. Do you have any issues with your Mavic Pro 3 gimbal? Asks Mavic Havoc. I've never owned a Mavic Pro 3. So no. But also no. All right. I don't know. I had a Mavic Mini for a while. I didn't really use it because it's just not in my head to use it. I really have these ideas that I would do all these great cinematic shots with it. And then when I sit down to shoot a video, that's just not where my head is at. That's just not in my toolbox mentally. So I sold it. So there you go. The Mavic Pro 3 is not out yet, says Floppy Props. Oh, well, is it a trick question? No question. No problems yet. Rattel Starlight is another good nighttime camera. Thank you, Carbon Cage FPV, for the suggestion. Is there a non-DJI drone that can compare to DJI in terms of features and stability for the price? Asks Robert Rittenhouse. I think that most people would say that the Skydio is a valid competitor to DJI. The other one that probably is worth a look is Parrot. Is Parrot as good as DJI? Like, nobody's really as good as DJI. Skydio, I think, comes close. But that's not really an area I'm so super expert on. So you should really not take that for much. Foxeer Toothless Nano Starlight is great at night during the day, says Ciati. I'm running it on all my freestyle rigs at this point. Ciati, I'm going to go look at the Ultimate FPV shopping list, and I'm going to look at the sub 250 page. And if I don't see the Foxeer, Ciati, the Foxeer Toothless Nano, I'm running it on all my rigs. Why did you... Ciati! Oh, my God. Why is it not on... We talked about this. All right. Now I've called Ciati out on stream. People are going to... That's rude. You shouldn't do that. That's how I talk. I don't do phone calls. I just shout at people on stream. Sorry, Ciati. He can take it. Cool Cat says Parrot isn't as good as DJI. Autel? Did Autel make good stuff? Autel Evo Pro 2 is by far better than DJI, says Radbeard FPV. Oh, see, I didn't know that. Shows you what I know. Carbon Cage says Parrot is not as good as DJI. They're just like pro toys. Fair enough. Oh. Ciati says I don't let anybody in on my secrets. I specifically told you to give me all your secrets. All right. I got to get that on the list, Ciati. And some people might say, Joshua, is Ciati recommending a product good enough to make you put it on your list? And the answer is yes. Especially when it comes to sub 250. Ciati's the man. And if he has a problem with me copying his recommendations, he could tell you about it on stream. What do you think about Sky Zone? Do you think it's a copy of Fat Shark, says Mr. Lucky FPV? Nah, I don't think that at all. I mean, look at him. Sky Zone had a power button years before Fat Shark did. I mean, only in as much as any goggle you put on your face, put screens in front of your face. Sky Zone has its own module, its own receiver module that they developed. They have a completely different interface. They have more features. No, it's not in any way a Fat Shark should copy Sky Zone. in a lot of ways. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm on a roll today. I'm pissing everybody off today. There you go. I'm just pissing everybody off today. I don't know why. Nick S. Ooh, Nick S sent me some pics of his JBQ AVS. I guess I didn't piss him off. Nick S sent me some pics of his JBQ AVS build. Beautiful. God, I love those motors. That's a great frame too. Shows him a picture of his own sponsored frame, and he says, "I love those motors." Sorry, Lumineer. That's my bad. This frame is so good. It's the best. The motors aren't bad either. Yeah, beautiful. Hey, that reminds me. Earlier in the stream, he's probably gone. There was a person on the Discord asking about a Hex Drivers set. I got to tell you, I have this cheap-ass Hex Drivers set. It's not this exact one, but they're all kind of identical. We'll see if I can find it. It's on my website, actually, isn't it? That was the wrong... That was the wrong first three letters to type by accident. FPV know-it-all. Must have tools. Yeah, I have a suggestion right here, don't I? Surely I do, right? There we go. These are the Hex Drivers, the newer titanium Hex Drivers. These things have been rock solid for me, and I strongly recommend them, even though they're only 15 bucks. The only thing I would say is two things you got to do. Number one, get some rubber cement or like E6000 and glue these end caps in, or the end caps pop out. And the other thing is get some blue Loctite and Loctite the grub screws in, or the grub screws will work loose. Other than that, these things have been amazing. Like, just amazing. They're so good. C Young 300 says MIP drivers. Yes, that's true, but 35 bucks isn't actually that bad. That's not bad. I thought they were going to be a lot more than that. MIP also good. Hex driver set. What do we got here? Well, it's 35 bucks. That's more than twice as much as 15, but they do look like they are good quality drivers. Yeah. But these little Hex drivers are one of the cases where somehow the cheap Chinese option that everybody has a copy of, and they probably cost $1, and they sell them to you for 15 bucks. Somehow these tips are really good. Like, they're very good tips. Anyway, that's my go. Sorry it took me so long to get back to you with the answer. FPV Lovecraft says you can put screws and nuts in the driver handles with the caps. Yeah, you can, but then the caps fall out. And then what? Like, I don't like that. I just glued them in. I glued them in. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't care about that. People are saying you can 3D print caps for them that stay in, and then use the end caps for storage. Yeah, I don't want them. I don't want a freaking shaker. Oh boy, that's gonna be a GIF. I don't want a freaking shaker in my tool. Greenbone says, what do I do about the fact that your Xylo analog build doesn't come with a RxSR receiver? It comes with a Cadix thing with a button. Okay, hang on. Greenbone, it never came with an RxSR. That's a misunderstanding on your part. It never came with an RxSR. And can I just confirm that for you real quick? If we go look at this product page for it, and it has always said this, I assure you, RC receiver is not included. It has never come with a receiver. I promise you. Because we don't know that you have a FreeSky controller. You might have Crossfire, you might have Tracer. So it has never included a receiver, and it says right here, receiver is not included. So what do you do about the fact that it's not included? The same thing you always did. You buy a receiver. But no one took anything away from you by not including the receiver. Fair enough? Okay. And then the Caddx thing with a button is for your camera. Caddx camera joystick. If I find a picture of it. So it's this little button thing here. That is for controlling your camera, for setting the camera settings. Okay? You use that to adjust the camera settings. That's what that is. All right, there you go. That's the answer. Metal Dirtskin likes the Weeha ball end ones. I don't trust ball end hex drivers. I don't trust them. I think they're too likely to strip out a screw. Personally, I don't like using ball end ones. Xander Potgeiter says, I have a Eachine Novice 3 drone. That flight controller lost one of the ESCs. There's no connectors for external ESCs. Is there a way of replacing an ESC on an all-in-one flight controller? Xander, the challenge there is that you have to get at the signal wire somehow. And most all-in-ones don't break the signal pads out. Now, if you could figure out where on the board that signal output is, like by soldering directly to the pin on the MCU to get the signal output, yeah, you could install an external ESC. But if you can't get at that signal output in some way, then you're not going to be able to do it. Josh G, you cannot remap a UART to a motor output. You can usually turn a motor output into soft serial, which gives you a UART. That may work for some things. Christopher Calhoun says he's thinking about buying the Xylo Quad Kit. Would it fly with 1500 milliamp hour 6S packs? Christopher, 1500 milliamp hour 6S would be pretty heavy. I think it would fly, but I don't think it would fly the best, especially because the motors on that JB Xylo build are a little bit small and a little bit underpowered. It being a beginner build, we wanted it to not be like too powerful. It's still plenty powerful, but it's not like the most powerful. So I think a 1500 6S would not be the best. The other problem that people often don't talk about is you put a heavier battery on, and now when you crash, you have more energy and weight in the crash, which makes you a lot more likely to break arms and so forth. So what's a 1500 6S weigh? Let's try to Luminaire 1500 6S 95C. Seems pretty typical. Yeah, that's a fine one. Weight, 273 grams. So that is an 1100 6S or a 1300 4S is usually between, say, 180 and 210 grams. So you are 70 to 90 grams heavier. It's gonna make, oops, sorry, wrong scene. It's gonna make you're more likely to break stuff in a crash, and it's gonna make the quad fly worse. If that's what you have, yeah, it'll fly. But I would not think it was ideal. In the Attic FPV is watching the replay and has just told us that the Mavic Pro 3 is not out yet. That's how far back they are. Welcome back. Kevin Sumner, I do not have any battery testing in the works. I'm not sure. The battery testing, I got a big dump of batteries from Race Day Quads and a big dump of batteries from Get FPV. And nobody really wants to give me $500 worth of batteries to test. Only we got a dump of batteries from AU Line, and they showed that the AU Line batteries had some problems. Some of them did. I think a lot of manufacturers aren't eager to just give me a big pile of batteries, only for me to test them. And then I'm not going to name names because I think that would be rude, but some people have reached out to me and said, hey, yeah, can we send you batteries to test? And I'm like, yep, the best thing you could do is to send me like 50, 30 batteries, like just all up and down your line. So I can test the whole thing. And then we can just put the results out and say, your batteries, Company X's batteries are, or, or whatever. And they say, well, we've got these new batteries. There's a new 120C 4S. We just want you to test that one. I'm like, like you only want me to test the one that you're most excited about. And there's not as much value in that. And then they say, listen, you're going to show us the results before you publish them, right? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to publish them. And then they don't send me batteries. So we could buy batteries onesie twosie, but I already decided that wasn't ideal because it's just not as useful. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but we haven't done any battery testing in a while, and I don't know if we will. What flight control software can I download on a Mac? Asks Greenbone. Betaflight. Yeah, Betaflight. It's available for macOS. Almost everything's available for macOS nowadays. Aber the Ham wants a tutorial on remapping. Aber. Nothing makes me happier than to be able to deliver a video that people are asking for. Aber, this video, I'll put it in the YouTube chat as well. This video has an in-depth tutorial about what you can remap where. Right? What are all these things and which ones of them can you move around? So if you already have a basic understanding of how to use the resource command, but you're like, can I remap a UART to motor 3? Can I remap beeper? This video is probably 90% of what you want. It's not 100%, but it's probably most of what you want. Ciati FPV is here in the chat. He's going to be streaming at 10 o'clock. Good to see you here, Ciati. I hope your streams are going well. Yeah. Ciati's been so busy being a movie star. Well, he's been on movie sets. Worked flying quads for movies. Yeah. wouldn't it be great to do a series of videos about people who are working professionally in FPV and how they got their jobs and how they got their connections and what their first day on set was like? I think that would be a great series. I got to remember to do that. I'll just get right on that. Ciati, you could be first if you want to be. Like, because Ciati just started working full-time in the last, say, 6 months. What was that like? Yeah. People are always asking, how do I get into professional? How do I get connections? How do I get my first job? It'd be interesting to hear how people did that. Not just guys like Ciati who are relatively new at it, but guys like, I would love to interview, Nurk, Tommy, talk about their experiences on set and so on. I think that would be really cool. Corey Marinello, thank you for a $5 super chat. I'm getting ready to solder my tracer on my Non-Dji Evoke 5, but I can't find any of the diagrams that have both analog and digital. So what flight controller is on the Non-Dji Evoke 5? What flight controller is on it? That's the first thing. Let's look up Corey Marinello. Why is my video not up here? Oh, they're all iFlight videos. Okay, that's fair. Sorry, I'm just whining. Sorry for whining. Apologize. It's because I'm a millennial. Just whiny. Like, where's my participation prize? Success Mini F7. Fair enough. Let's look for that. SuxXD Mini F7. Twidgy stack wiring diagram. Oh, excuse me. Can we just get a straight pin out? Well, that's the thing. iFlight gives you detailed wiring diagrams, but sometimes there we go. There's a pin out. There's a complete pin out. A little bit of a weird place to put it. So, do they show you where to put the receiver for Crossfire? Is this it? Yeah. So, Corey Marinello, isn't this exactly what you need to do? Glad to see you back, Mike. I don't know. I didn't know if you went. I didn't see you for a minute. Glad to see you back. Um, 661 FPV. You absolutely do need a 107 if you're working on a commercial set. No movie set or commercial or anything like that that has insurance will let you fly without a 107. I mean, who knows? But I wouldn't try to go into the business without a 107. Yeah, Corey Marinello, isn't this the answer? But you can't find any diagrams. You have both analog and digital. This is the flight controller that is on the Nazgul Evoke, supposedly. Here's the full pinout, and here's the specific wiring diagram for Crossfire. So that's what you need for Tracer. Bingo. That's it, right? There you go. Corey Marinello says, I was just worried that T1 is R1 is flipped. No. So hang on. Like, bottom line, no. Channel 1 on Tracer is TX, goes to RX on the flight controller. Channel 2 is RX, goes to TX on the flight controller. The way UARTs work is almost all the time, TX goes to RX and RX goes to TX. That may be what's tripping you up. Now let's double check here. This is R1. Yeah, R1 is next to ground. That's consistent. Yeah. Nope, that's correct. You're good to go, man. Alrighty. Does the Evoke really use a 20x20 flight controller? Yes, it does, Gregory Hurst. They needed it to be smaller so they could fit the side plates on without making the frame enormous. So I abused the shit out of the ESC. Like, I put the quad into turtle mode. I held it down with one hand, and I the prop, and I jammed a wrench repeatedly into the prop. I was just like, blah, 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 and the ESC didn't die. So, I mean, like, that's not definitive, but it is something. So, oh, there's another nice GIF for you guys to make in the next Rotorisco roundup. What do you think of the quad with side plates? Asks Brandon Beans. Yeah, I mean, keeps the flight controller clean, I guess. It's cute. I like the LEDs. Archangel, be careful with conformal coding. I don't know what ACF 50 is. Is that a form of conformal coding? If you spray conformal coding onto your quad, you're very likely to get it somewhere where it doesn't need to be, like in the bootloader button or the USB port. I would say always paint it on with a brush and be careful about where you get it. Papa Doc says the gyro is not recognized on his Nanohawk X. Did you just flash it? If you flash with the wrong firmware, then your gyro won't be recognized. That's the #1 time to do that. The other thing is that if you flash the flight controller, but then you don't apply custom defaults when you plug in USB the next time, it will not work. You get that problem. Wesley Vardy, good to see you. Wesley Vardy definitely should be blue. Wesley Vardy is a moderator now. Woo! Don't abuse your power, Wesley. ACF 50 is safe to use on electronics. That's fine, Archangel. Is it okay to use? Will obviously conformal coding is also safe to use on electronics. Is it okay to use on like a USB port? That's the question. Let's look it up. No, I'm just going to keep asking Archangel. Awkwardly. Anti-corrosion lubricant compound. Yeah, okay, so that's an anti-corrosion compound. It's not really waterproofing, but that's okay because water is not actually that conductive. Usually the problem with water is the corrosion, and the ACF will help protect from corrosion. What camera should I get to replace the Beta FPV drone camera? I don't want to get the wrong one, asks Slenderpig Gaming. Gonna need more information than that. What quad do you have now, and what camera is on it? Justin Tadena says, I'm super new to the hobby. Everyone seems to get 3+ minutes flight time on the Mobula 6. I only get about 1:30. Am I too aggressive on the sticks? 380 milliamp hour 1S flash JESC 48K. Justin, going to the 48K firmware will help with your flight time. The number one reason a tiny whoop like the Mob 6 would get bad flight time is you're using crappy batteries. The best batteries you can get, the tiny whoop batteries are supposed to be very good. The Newbie Drone Nitro Nectar Gold are some of the best you can get as well. So if you're in the USA, buy the Newbie Drone Nitro Nectar Gold and then see if you get longer flight time. But if you're really thrashing the sticks, getting down closer to 1:30, I feel like you probably have, your batteries might be crappy. That's what I would say. The batteries that come with it are bad. Josh G points out that the new Tattoo batteries are cheaper and are on par with the Nitro Nectar. Yeah, I think, Josh, I suspect that they're the same cell, right? They look the same. If Tattoo is selling them cheaper, that sucks for Newbie Drone, but I think they're probably the same cell. Anthony Lee asks, JB, what's your take on using the Zing 2 1404 4600 kV with a QAV-S Mini 3-inch for a sub 250 4S Vista build? Using 1507, they'll be too heavy. Anthony Lee, I agree. 1507 is a little bit much for a sub 250 3-inch. What I would do is I would check out FPVKnowItAll.com. I haven't announced this yet, but we just yesterday made live the sub 250 gram page. And thank you to Aaron Ciotti for helping advise. Aaron, I just don't know enough about sub 250 to really come up with all this stuff. So I reached out to Ciotti and said, can you help me out? And does this not have any text? Did I not write text for that? Fair enough. We've got some suggestions here. For a 3-inch build, Brother Hobby 1504.5 is a way to go. And probably is going to put you close to the 250 gram limit, but you can do it. Ciotti, chime in if you like, but this is all your advice anyway. So, Emax Ego 1404 and the Zing 2 1404. These are pretty good sub 250 3-inch motors. Not like the best because 1404 is a little small if you want like ultimate performance, but they're all right. What about the Zing 1504? Well, if the Brother Hobby 1504.5 is good, then probably the 1504 from Zing is good, but I don't know for sure. And then we've also got this Emax 1306, which I'm trying to remember if I wrote text about it and the text didn't, or if it didn't make. It's weird that it has no text. Did I not? Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, bookmarks, thanks. That makes it a lot easier. Where are the motors? Oh, no. Wow. Why did I not write any text about this? Okay, that's my bad. Siati says the Zing 1504 is his new favorite. It just came out. All right, well, there you go. Siati, what do you think of the Emax 1306? I can only guess that that's on the page because you put it there, because I certainly didn't come up with it. Did we just put it there because it's what Emax uses on its quads? Let's see what Siati says about the Emax 1306. It's weird. I think what probably happened is I didn't write text about it because it wasn't my suggestion. Yeah. And then I forgot to get it from Siati. Why not use 1806, Mr. B says. Mr. B, if I'm remembering right, Siati likes the 1806 for big, thick boy 3 inches like Acrobrat, but the 1806 is way too heavy for a sub 250. Ah, the 1306 uses a 12 by 12 base. The Zing 15. Siati, do any of the frames that we put on the list have a 12 by 12 base? Because if those motors can't be used with these frames, then those motors don't really need to be here. The Emaxes are available all over the place. Yeah, but if you can't put them on a frame, it's not really useful. All right. Well, it's great that this conversation is happening because we're 4 minutes from the end of my live stream, and Siati is going to be streaming at 10 p.m. on his channel. Oh, they all have a 12 by 12 base. The 1504. Oh, the Zings are 9 by 9. I see. Okay, I'll have to do a little more research to make sure people are sizing the motors correctly. Yeah, they have both. Okay. 1306. All right, Siati, we'll have to get back together and make sure this page is as up to date as possible. But Siati is going to be streaming in 3 minutes. Siati, post the link, and y'all can talk more micro stuff from Siati. They call him the Micro King. It's not just his girlfriend. Oh, is that joke getting old yet, Siati? Woo! Probably not. This is going to be the subject of my harassment lawsuit 5 years from now. Fair enough. But that's going to do it for me, folks. Oh, Matt Shonen, thank you for 500 yen. Is there a way to stop arcing when plugging in lipos? The XT60 smoked on one pin. Matt Shonen, your XT60 didn't smoke because of the sparks. Your XT60 smoked because you had a short circuit. There are anti-spark XT90 connectors, but I don't think XT60 anti-spark exists. If you have literal burnt pin, it means that your positive wire was shorted to ground somehow, like it rubbed against the frame and shorted to the frame. So the issue is you had a short circuit, not the issue is the arcing is not the issue. Justin to Dana, thank you for $2 Canadian. And Furious, what causes desyncs? Motors aren't hot, the quad just falls when I ask for high throttle. If a motor desyncs, is it considered dead? Furious, if you punch the throttle and the quad falls towards the front left every time, then the front left motor or ESC is damaged, and I would replace it and see if that fixes it. That's what I would do. You can add a switch to your battery wire to stop the spark. Okay, but hang on, smarty pants. It's going to need to be like a 200 amp switch because the battery wire carries as much as 200 amps. Go look how much it weighs, a switch that's rated for the amps that our batteries carry. Even a 60 or, yeah. So, yeah. Alrighty, folks, we're going to wrap up. Greenbone, Betaflight on Mac. You need to... people were telling you about this. You need to... No. Where's the security settings? Like, you hold down the control key. What do you do on macOS to open Betaflight installer? You bypass the security settings. Somebody who owns a Mac, tell me what to do. It's so easy, but I don't know what it is. I don't know. You like control click it or something to right click it and click open. Greenbone. Right click and click open, or control click and select open, and then it'll give you the option to bypass the security. That's what you do. All right, folks. Siati, have a great stream. That's going to be it for us. Happy flying, everybody. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow for the news at 6 p.m.